welcome back to another video. I hope you are all doing okay and you've had a lovely weekend. Today I'm going to be coming to you with a builder gel infill using the new Hema free range of the builderbel gels by Glitterbels. I know you've been asking if it's any different to infill and obviously how I'm getting on with it and stuff, and in this video you'll see my nails, which are probably around 2 maybe 3 weeks grown out, and I'm going to be infilling them and showing you exactly how I do it. Now it is a little bit different to how I used to infill the black bottles, which is why I've brought you another tutorial. And like I said, yeah, you've just been asking me if it's any different or if you know how I'm getting on with it, if it's any different to infill, what are the steps. So here we go. This is exactly what I've brought you, and it is infilling my own nails because they were in dire need, let me tell you, and just having fresh nails is just the best. So yeah, I have currently got on Everlasting Love by which is the Hema free range by Glitterbels, and I will take you through the whole process. So I hope you find it helpful and we will get into it. So this is what my nails are looking like at the moment. So we've obviously got a bit of a design on there, and this is probably around about 2 weeks growth. So what we're going to do first of all is I'm going to get my barrel bit, and this is probably on the speed around 13-14, and we're going to be removing that old design. And also when I'm doing this, I just like to take down kind of as much product as I can, because obviously because we're going to be going in with more product, we just want to be keeping an eye on kind of the bulkiness of these nails. Obviously because builder gel is infillable, what I like to do personally is just take down quite a bit of product each time that I am filing off design, just because like I say, I just want to be keeping an eye on the amount of product that's on there, because we don't want them to look bulky. We want to keep our refining to a minimum once we've applied it. And yeah, I just like to make sure that that is one thing that I do when I'm removing any design, you know, previous design or any top coat or anything like that. I just like to take quite a bit of the builder gel down, and I'll just keep looking at the side profile as you can see here, and just taking down any areas where product seems to, you know, where there seems to be like quite a bit or anything like that, just to obviously make sure it is prepped ready for the infill and obviously for putting more product on there basically. So I take down the middle to start off with, and then I'll just go around the edges and just kind of debulk any product from around those areas and just make sure that's all taken care of. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. Next, I'm going to get my tornado bit, and what I like to do with this is just go around the edges, and I like this bit just purely because it is super fine towards the tip, which is where I'm most near the natural nail plate. So I know that I'm not going to be using too much of a coarse bit around the natural nail plate, and it also gets coarser towards the bottom of the bit, which is obviously where the main bulk of the biab is. So I just like to go over the nail with this bit. What I also like about this bit is it can get really tucked into those corners without kind of causing any damage to the nail plate. And I also remove any lifting or anything like that with this bit, just because it is so perfect as it's finer towards the top and then coarser towards the bottom. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to grab my 180-240 file from Nobu, and I'm going to be refining the shape. Now I'm going to be keeping these almond. I absolutely love almond at the minute. It is literally my go-to. And what I'll do is I'll use the 180 side for kind of going over the top, as you can see here, and then I use the 240 side on the free edge. So I utilize both sides of the file, obviously using the more coarser one over the biab, and then using the 240 side for refining the shape. Now, I don't actually want to take any length off these because I actually do like my almond nails a little bit longer, which is basically how the finished look of these nails look in the end is exactly my perfect length. So I don't want to take any length off. I do like my almond a little bit longer, and I also think you can get away with them being a little bit longer when they're almond because they just don't get in the way. I just absolutely love them a little bit longer. I think if I had this length but square, I would notice a difference a lot more, and that's what I always like to say, to kind of suggest with my clients. If they like a longer nail but they don't, they struggle with them kind of getting in the way, I'll always suggest a almond shape just because they are just perfect for that. You don't have any corners getting in the way, and I just think they look super classy. I absolutely love this length and shape. So yeah, I'm just pretty much going to be neatening up the free edge, and I just like to tuck my file kind of underneath just to make sure they are perfect looking from underneath too. And like I say, just making sure that the top surface is really smooth after me kind of filing over with my drill bits, just because we want the surface to be as smooth as possible for when the biab goes on, because obviously the smoother your surface is going to be when it's prepped, then the smoother your application is going to be when they are all applied, and it just means that you're kind of narrowing down your refining time, if any, once you've applied the biab. Next, I'm going to be going in with my Flame cuticle drill bit. This is from Nobu and it is a staple for my prep. This just basically lifts up the cuticle and just removes any dead skin from the nail plate as well. And basically it just lifts the cuticle up in preparation for me to go in with my nippers. This is where I'm going to go in with my Hema free range, and I've got the primer, dehydrator and the base coat. Now the first one we're going to do is dehydrate the nails. So this is after all your prep's done. I'm just going to go in with the dehydrator and go around the areas of obviously the grown out areas, just where the natural nail plate is. So I'm going to do that with the dehydrator. Then I'm going to go in with the Hema free primer and I'm going to do the exact same thing. Now the difference is with the dehydrator and the primer, obviously the dehydrator is drying where the primer actually stays kind of like a wet look on the nail. So what I would say is that you need to be super careful that you're just kind of applying this to the nail, because otherwise it does kind of make it a little bit easier when you're applying your base coat. So now I'm going to be going in with my base coat, and this is where it's a little bit different for the prep for my Hema free range. And I'm going to be placing the base coat on all over the nail in preparation for the builder gel to go on. Now I didn't do this previously, obviously with the Hema free range I used the base coat. I didn't previously with the black bottles, but I do with the Hema free range. So like I say, just going all over the nail and getting that ready for the builder gel application. So once this base coat is applied, I will set that for 60 seconds. So now it's time for the builder gel application. So this is shade Everlasting Love, and obviously this is the Hema free range from Glitterbels. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by just placing the first bead just with a little bit of a gap towards the cuticle, just to allow some space for me to just push that back. And as you can see, I just push the product as close to the cuticle as we can. Don't worry too much because we are going to go in with our fine liner afterwards, just to neaten up and get it as close as possible. But that is exactly what I do. I just push the product and then drag that down the side walls, just making sure that I'm checking the side profile and making sure it's all level and even. then going in with my fine liner, which is the Nobu 2-in-1 fine liner, and I'm just going to go down the side walls and just neaten those up, and just like I say, get the product as close as I can do to the cuticle and down the side walls, just without making sure that I don't touch the skin. So I repeat those steps on all 5 fingers. I obviously have done my other hand as well, but I didn't include that in this video just because I don't want it to be too long. But yeah, what I basically do is I set each finger at a time as well, just purely because once I've placed that biab, I just want to make sure that I'm popping it in the lamp when I'm completely happy with it, because if I move on to another nail and whilst I'm placing the product on another one, the product can move if you've not kind of set them in between, if that makes sense. So I set them, even if it's just a flash cure between each finger, and then I do a full 99-second set when they are all done. So they're all set now, so I'm just going to wipe over and remove the tacky layer just with some acetone on a lint-free wipe, and this is what they look like without any refining. Usually I just kind of refine the free edge, which is what I'm going to do here. So I'm just going in with my 240 side of my file and just refining that shape. Again, just getting on the kind of tucking in the corners, just making sure it's all nice and flush, and making sure I'm happy with it. Like I say, I don't always refine over the top, but I do kind of check it from a side profile view and just see if there is anything that there is, you know, any areas that I want to file. But usually there isn't, as long as I'm happy with the application once it's gone into the lamp. It does kind of minimize the refining time. So yeah, I'm just going to refine the shape, just making sure they're all nice and sharp. And if I'm happy with everything, then I will just go in with my top coat or my design. Obviously in this case, I'm just going to top coat them. I'm just going to keep them as the biab colour. So I'm just going to top coat these and then we will all be done. So there we go, they are all top coated and all cured. So I'm just going to go in with my cuticle oil because that is going to be your best friend, and they just finish the set off so nicely. So I'm just going to pop that on and brush it around, making sure that I get on the underside as well. And this is the finished look. I'm absolutely obsessed with them. This is my perfect length and shape. I'm actually obsessed. So yeah, that is exactly how they look, and I hope you love them as much as I do. So there you go guys, that is everything. They are all infilled and I absolutely love them. Oh, I literally can't tell you how obsessed I am with them. Like I said, this length and shape for me is just perfect. I just absolutely love almond and I'm obsessed with them. So yeah, I hope you found it helpful. If you have any questions, as always, just drop them in the comments or you can message me on Instagram. I'll pop my little handle at the bottom of the screen in case you need it. And yeah, hopefully you found it helpful, and thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.